Okay, exponential growth and decay. Today we're just going to do a little bit of exploring to see what this sort of means when things grow exponentially or they decay exponentially. So just remember that when you have an equation like y is equal to 3 times 1/2 to the x power, that 3 would have to be in the parentheses if it is also brought to that x power. So you're really saying 3 times 1/2 brought to the x power. So 1/2 is the only thing being brought to that power. Now you can figure this out by hand by putting in random x values if you want to, or you can go to your graphing calculator and put it under y equals and then go find out what some of these values are. So let's just take a few of the values. Let's just say if we have some of our favorites, of course, -2, -1, 0, 1, and 2. Let's just see what happens. So that means 3 times 1/2 brought to the -2 power. And if you just wanted to go into your y equals under your table, you will see that that answer is 12. When it is -1, that answer is 6. And you can know how to do this on the math also, and that's fine. If it's brought to the 0 power, remember anything brought to the 0 power is 1, so that 1/2 now becomes 1. So 3 times 1 is just 3. If it's to the first power, it's 1.5, and if it's the second power, it's 0.75. And just like if we wanted to go on down, we could just see, like if we get down here to 5, we are really getting into some small decimals. It's like 0.09375, so it's getting smaller and smaller. So notice that what happens to the function, the y value, as the value of x is increasing. Well, here x is increasing as we're going, this way, because that's like my number line. Well, what's happening to my y values? Well, those are getting smaller and smaller. So y is decreasing as x increases. Okay, so just keep that in mind. Keep in mind that this was a fraction, so 1/2, so that is that number there is less than 1, and so that's going to have something to do with this. Okay, so here we have another one. Let's just go ahead and put in our favorite little x values here. So notice this, what's being brought to the power here is 3/2, which is 1.5 if you want to look at it like that. So notice that that number is actually greater than 1, right? And again, that's 2 times 3/2 brought to that x power. And only that 3/2 is brought to an x power. So that number is greater than 1. Okay, so let's put that in our calculator and let's just see what some of those values are. So we've got 2 times 3 divided by 2 brought to the x power. Go look at my table. So when x is -2, I show that it's 0.8889. When it's -1, it's 1.33. It's just going to keep going. When x is 0, then that answer is 2. When x is 1, it's 3. When x is 2, it's 4.5. So again, what's happening to that y value as the value of x is increasing? So x is getting bigger here. What's going on with our y values? Well, our y values are also getting bigger. So our y value is increasing as x is increasing. Oh, and we didn't graph these. We can graph these. I'm sorry. So -2, 12. 1, 2. It's going to be off the charts. These are 10. -1, 6. 0, 3. 1, 1.5. 2.75. And so we're just going to keep coming down here and hugging this line as much as we can. So that, exponential function looks Okay, I did a really bad job drawing that, but it's going to keep coming down here and hugging this line. Okay, let's graph this one. -2, we're at 0.8. -1, we're at 1.3. 0, we're at 2. 1, we're at 3. 2, we're at 4.5. So you see how this one, and if we wanted to just see, okay, what's happening at like 5, where are we at? We are probably off the chart somewhere. We're already at like 15 point something. So even at 1. So by 5, we need to be way up here. Okay. So something like that. He's probably hugging the line over here. Okay, so just notice that then if this value was greater than 1, then it's growing, right? It's going to get bigger and bigger, the y value. If that number is less than 1, as it is up here, looks like that y value is decreasing, so that's going to be our decay. Okay, so we can just come to these conclusions then. If that b term is between 0 and 1, then the value of y is decreasing, because it means that if that's a fraction, it's decreasing as the value of x increases, and the graph represents a model of exponential decay. Okay, if it's greater than 1, the value of y is increasing, and the value of x, as the value of x is increasing, and the graph represents a model of exponential growth. Okay, so those are two sort of key things here to remember about exponential growth. Is what that b is doing. Okay, so we're going to classify each of these following exponential models as either growth or decay. Okay, so A, we don't have a number out there, so B is 5, and that is greater than 1, so that is going to be growth. Or we could say A is just 1, right? A is 1 here, B is 0.4, so that is less than 1, it's between 0 and 1, so that's going to be decay. Okay, in this example, A is the 8, B is the 0.25, which is less than 1, so it is decay. A is 4, B is 2.5, so that's greater than 1, so that is growth. And that is it.